Hello everyone, today I'll be talking about post-COVID conditions, specifically focusing on neurological effects. Before we start, here is a brief summary to a human nervous system. We have the central nervous system, which includes the brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, which includes the neurons. Next, we will talk about blood vessels in the brain. These blood vessels have a unique property called the blood-brain barrier. Blood-brain barrier tightly regulates the movement of substances in and out of the brain. Did you know it is so restrictive it can hinder the ability of drugs to reach the target cells? However, damaged barrier can allow immune cells and other substances to enter, leading to neurological problems. With this, let us jump into the first part of the video. How does the virus attack the brain? There are two possible routes the virus can invade our nervous system. First, travel up our nose and enter nerve cells, then into the brain. Secondly, the virus infects our respiratory tract, spread to organs which are in contact with cerebral blood, crosses the blood-brain barrier, and enter the brain. But as we mentioned earlier, blood-brain barrier is very restrictive. How can a virus cross it? There are three mechanisms that could be used by the virus, either on its own or as a combination. Transcellular migration. The virus directly invades the cells on the blood-brain barrier by binding to the ACE2 receptor. Paracellular migration. The virus invades the space between the cells of the blood-brain barrier. Trojan horse strategy. The virus is eaten by immune cells, but its genetic material is not degraded. Thus, an infected immune cell crosses the blood-brain barrier while carrying its genetic material. After the virus successfully invades the central nervous system, infected cells can produce cytokines, which are molecules that help facilitate communication between cells in immune responses and signals them towards the sites of infection. In a normal situation, this is how the infection is eradicated. However, this is where the problem begins for post-COVID conditions. Scientists believe that the cause of it is because of our immune system and not because of the virus. Here are two hypotheses to explain this. Firstly, cytokine storm. When there is a severe infection of SARS-CoV-2, it leads to the overproduction of cytokines, causing a cytokine storm. As we mentioned earlier, cytokines help to signal and recruit immune cells to the site of infection. With this rapid release of cytokines, it can trigger heightened inflammatory response, leading to disruption of blood-brain barrier and allowing immune cells to enter and attack the brain cells. Secondly, Bradykinin storm. SARS-CoV-2 binds to our cells via the ACE2 receptor. After the virus binds to ACE2, it tells the cell to reduce the production of this receptor. In the brain, the level of ACE2 expression is important to ensure that it is functioning normally. Thus, the decreased level of ACE2 causes a type of protein called the bradykinin to accumulate in the brain, leading to increased inflammation, bringing us back to the same problem caused by the cytokine storm. And that is how neurological symptoms occur. Let us move on to the second part of the video. Why only certain people develop neurological symptoms. Scientists are still trying to figure this out, but recent research studies have found some possible reasons to explain this. Genetic predisposition. Our genetic materials are found in the nucleus of our cells. Some individuals have genes that codes for autoantibodies. What's autoantibodies? They are immune molecules that target our own body instead of the foreign pathogens. This brings about autoimmune response, which is when the body fails to differentiate host cells from foreign invaders and start attacking them. Second, immune-mediated. It is possible that people with no genetic mutations can produce autoantibodies against cytokines when infected by SARS-CoV-2, hindering the immune response. Third, gender. Men are more likely to develop neurological symptoms and have a more severe form of post-COVID condition than women. This is because of the difference in sex chromosomes. Women have 2 X chromosomes and men have 1 X and 1 Y chromosome. Remember how we talk about the virus infecting our cells and reducing the ACE2 expression? Turns out the ACE2 gene is found in none other than the X chromosomes. Thus, women having 2 copies of X chromosomes will mean that they have double doses of ACE2. thus compensating for the SARS-CoV-2 mediated loss of ACE receptors. After listening to all these, we can't help but question, so is there a cure? Even though we have been through similar coronaviruses, there are still so many things we do not understand about SARS-CoV-2 itself. Needless to say, the long-term effects it brings to us. There are therapies under development, but currently, there is no definite cure for this. However, with the huge amount of ongoing research with regards to post-COVID conditions, I'm sure we are one step closer to finding a treatment to this debilitating syndrome. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a nice day.